I opened one of the letters up and it said that you owe $3,000. Another letter, you owe $6,000. And in another letter, it said I owe $9,000. It went all the way up to $17,000. And I'm like, wait, I've never even made this much in my business. So what is the IRS talking about? Because I got all of my receipts. I have every single piece of paper, and I have all of the proof that I've been paying you guys my taxes since the day that I started. And I don't know where y'all got $17,000 from. I don't know who's in the back calculating all these numbers, but they're wrong. After I let that lady know everything that had been going on in my business, they wind up owing me some money. They sent me a check. They sent me a refund. Hey y'all, welcome or welcome back to the Kurldom. My name is Janelle and I am the founder and KEO of KULTURED LLC, and today I am back with another video. In today's video, I'll be sharing the 8 lessons I learned my first 2 years in business, and this video is a year overdue because I should have did this video last year to share what I learned my first year in business. However, I did not have a YouTube channel back then, but I have one now, and KULTURED's 2-year anniversary is coming up next Monday on June 6, 2022, and I am super excited for that because I did not think that I was going to get to the 2-year mark. I wanted to give up last year. As a matter of fact, I wanted to give up the day that I launched because it was a mess and it did not go out the way that I planned. But guess what? It has nothing to do with me. It's all about what God wants for me and my business. And so that is something that I learned. Actually, I didn't even write that tip down, but that's just like a tip before the tips start. And so anyways, I don't want to keep you guys too long. I have my notebook so I do not get sidetracked and so I do not ramble. Let's go ahead and get right into this video. The first lesson that I learned is that my journey is my own. I launched in the middle of a pandemic, and before I launched, I was watching other businesses launch, and I was looking at other businesses who had launch dates after KULTURED, and I'm like, you know what? Everybody is having this amazing growth. Everyone has this, over the top engagement. And here I am at that point. I'm thinking that, okay, did I just get shadow banned on Instagram because the people that were there in 2018 and 2019 have fallen completely off in 2020. It's like no one's seeing me anymore. So what's about to happen? And I believe what happened is because I started to believe in my heart that I was going to fail, I manifested that I was going to fail. Now I didn't fail, but I didn't have the best turnout either. And so I became a little overwhelmed, and I started to believe that I wasn't going to be a successful business owner and that KULTURED wasn't going to be successful because I kept looking at everyone else's growth, and I started to compare myself to that. Now, you should compare yourself to other businesses. You should do a competitor analysis, but not to the point where you're thinking that you're not going to do well because everyone else is doing well and you're psyching yourself out. And so that was something that I had to learn. I had to just focus in on myself. I had to look at what other businesses were doing, but I had to do it in terms of making sure that this business was behind me, or if they're in front of me, how can I get to that point and not beat myself up about it? If you're looking to start your own business, or you have started your own businesses, if you're looking at other people who are in the same industry as you, that you're not beating yourself up about it, because at the end of the day, if you believe it in your heart, just like how I did, you're going to manifest that same sort of failure. So don't do that to yourself. Think positive. Something else that I had to learn along my journey was that I was going to have slow growth, or I was going to grow completely. I have to look at where I am in life. I still work a 9-to-5 job. I still have to take care of myself and my business. Yes, although I am very passionate about it, I cannot let it consume me to the point that I neglect myself as an entrepreneur and as just an individual in general. And so I had to realize that, you know what, if my growth is going to be slow, if it's going to be organic, if I'm not going to use influencer marketing, if I'm not going to spend a bunch of money on ads, and I have to be okay with where I'm going and how slow it is, and to just cherish every single moment. I believe that when things go a lot slower, you can actually cherish the moments a lot better. You can actually take account for what is actually going on in your business. You won't miss anything, if that makes sense. The second lesson I learned was to save all of my receipts, and this goes for all business owners. Save all of your receipts from the time that you start and you start purchasing products or inventory for your business to the time that you launch, and then even after you launch as well, for audit purposes and for tax purposes, and just for peace of mind in general. You want to make sure that you are saving all of your receipts, because you never know when the IRS is going to try to come for you, especially us small business owners, because they think that we don't know what we're doing, and in fact we do. And so, little story, one day I went to the post office and checked my PO box after I dropped off a few packages, and I noticed that there were a few you letters inside of the P.O. box. Now, of course, I'm thinking, who sent me something and who sent me a letter? So I opened one of the letters up and it said that you owe $3,000. And then it said in another letter, you owe $6,000. And in another letter, it said I owe $9,000. It went all the way up to $17,000. And I'm like, wait, I've never even made this much in my business. So what is the IRS talking about? And then it was the Attorney General saying, yeah, you owe us, or we gonna do this and we gonna do that. And I'm just like, go ahead and do it, because I got all of my receipts. I have every single piece of paper, and I have all of the proof that I've been paying you guys my taxes since the day that I started. And so of course I had to make a phone call, and I had to let that lady know on the phone. I said, listen, I don't have $17,000. And even if I did, I wouldn't be paying it to y'all. Number two, you don't have $17,000 in your purse, so why do you think that I have it? Number three, I've never made this much in my business. And so I can send you guys all the paperwork showing you how much I've made from launch all the way up until now. And I don't know where y'all got $17,000 from. I don't know who's in the back calculating all these numbers, but they're wrong. So what I'm gonna do for y'all is I'm gonna send y'all all this paperwork, and I'm gonna let y'all figure it out from there. And so of course, after I let that lady know everything that had been going on in my business, they wind up owing me some money. They sent me a check. They sent me a refund. So you guys, take it from me. Save all of your receipts, because you never know when they're going to try to come for you, or they might try to say that you owe them any money, or that they're going to try to shut down your business. Because once you get to a certain amount of money that you owe the IRS, they will try to shut your business down, either temporarily or indefinitely. So save your receipts and save you some time. The third lesson that I learned was to study my craft. I had to make sure that being in the beauty industry, things change every single day. One minute this is popular, the next minute it's not. And so I had to make sure that I study what's going on in the beauty industry, and also what's going on in just business in general, because a lot of business trends change just as quick as beauty trends change. And so in order for me to make sure that I'm running my business properly, I have to make sure that I'm actually studying and seeing what's going on. Sometimes a lot of business trends that change actually work in your favor. Sometimes, you know, you may find out that you could be getting a tax cut on this, and so you want to start using that within your business. Let's just say a certain oil is now trending and everyone is using it. If you have the money to incorporate that new trending oil into your business, and you will want to do that just so that you can be on top of the trend as well, so that your business can be talked about a lot as well. There are a lot of free business courses that you can take out there, and so you should definitely be looking into what you can learn, and always sign up for different webinars and just look for people to learn from. Which leads me to lesson number 4. Lesson number 4 is to network. I thought in the beginning, back in 2018, when I first started, that I was never going to have to get out there and physically sell a product. I thought I was going to be able to just make my product and then just sit behind a computer and take orders and send out orders. No. In 2020, when I launched, I realized I'm going to have to get in front of people. I'm going to have to introduce myself, and I'm going to have to talk about my business. If I don't talk about my business, no one's going to know about my business. And as a matter of fact, as of this year, I have done 4 pop-up shops, and I have seen more growth than ever before. And just getting out there and just telling people, when they compliment my hair or they compliment my sister's hair, we try to make a point to say, hey, this is the product that we use. Even if they didn't ask you what products that you use, still let them know. If you have your own beauty product, or you have a t-shirt line, or you have a jewelry line, and people compliment you on it, it doesn't matter if they asked you where you got it from or not. Let them know where it came from. And so that is something that I definitely make a point to do. And that's part of networking. If you know networking events are out there around you, go to them, meet new people. Don't be afraid to talk to people, and don't be afraid to share your ideas, because if you're going there to soak up information, you can't expect to just sit there and just take all the information in and not give any information back, because it is a networking event. You should be sharing information. That is the entire point. And even if you don't go to share information, but just to get contact information or just to meet new customers, still go, still participate. Don't just sit there up against the wall like a fly on the wall and then just expect people to approach you and give you what they know, because a lot of the information that you get from these networking events could make or break your business. The 5th lesson that I learned was to start keeping track of my metrics. In the beginning, I did not do that. I did not look at what was going good and what was going bad. I just went from month to month with the mindset that I need to improve what I did last month, or I need to make more sales than I did last month. And so the reason why I started to keep track of my metrics is because I realized there was a lot of information in those metrics. It was a lot of information that just didn't involve the amount of money that I made, but also how that money was made. So how those customers were converted, what page they landed on, what they looked at the longest. And a lot of platforms will allow you to actually physically see a video, like snapshot of what that customer was doing when they landed on your website. So a lot of customers that I noticed were staying on a certain page for a long period of time, and I realized that it wasn't because they were interested, it was because they were confused. And so by keeping track of that, I was able to then go back to that page that they were on and kind of like brush up on it and touch up some things and clarify a few things so that people wouldn't be as confused when they came onto the website or if they landed on that page. Another thing that I wanted to keep track of was the email marketing that I was using. Was that email that I sent out bringing in any customers, or was it converting people to actually make a sale? And if it did, how can I learn from that email? How can I redo it without duplicating the entire email so that people will continue to purchase via email marketing? The sixth lesson that I learned was to keep a stock of different product pictures. And the reason why I had to learn this lesson was because in the beginning, I used to just take pictures of whatever email that I wanted to send out or whatever Instagram post that I wanted to post. And I didn't have a lot of pictures after that. And so what I started to do was I just started to take a day and just list out what type of product pictures I wanted to take, what I wanted to capture, what idea I wanted my customers or future customers to get from that picture, and also put a caption with them to think out my captions, because I am horrible at finding captions or words to say because I've just never been good with it. And so I wanted to start taking a bunch of pictures just to have them on hand. You never know when you're going to want to post something. You should always have posts scheduled ahead of time, but just in case it's like spur of the moment and you decide that you have an idea, you're like, you know what, I want to share this with my customers or with future customers. And so that's what I started to do. I started to take different pictures and then just keeping them in my phone. And so my phone storage is probably completely full at this point because I just have so many photos in there. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to use all of those photos. You may change your mind later on and say, you know what, I actually don't want to post this because I've since become more creative and this isn't what I envisioned. And so yeah, keep a stockpile of pictures. I'm speaking to myself while I'm saying this as well because I need to take more photos. And so yeah, I learned to just keep a stockpile of photos just to have them on hand for whenever I wanted to post an email or to post a picture on Instagram. The seventh lesson that I learned is that my business is an extension of me. And to quote John Maxwell, he said, there's no such thing as business ethics. It's just ethics. You either have it or you don't. And so the reason why he said that was because a lot of people believe that who they are as a person will not be reflected in their business. And that is not true. Whoever you are is what your business will be. And if you have employees, that will become the culture of your organization as well. And so if you are a very kind person, if you are a very giving person, if you are a leader, then your leadership qualities will show up in your employees, and then their leadership qualities will show up in your customers and how you retain your customers and what your customers will actually say about you in your reviews or to other people that they meet in person. On the flip side, if you are a very rude person and you hire people, your employees will more than likely be rude as well, because you're going to eventually hire the people who are just like you. You're going to resonate more with people who have the same personality as you. And then guess what will happen? Your employees may be rude to your customers, and then your customers are going to say, she has very horrible customer service, or I'm never buying from this business again because she was rude or because her employee was rude. And so nothing got resolved. And then now guess what? That customer review is going to be seen by other future customers, and then they may or may not want to purchase from you. So you have to be mindful of who you are as a person. And that's something that I like to keep in mind as well. I noticed that my labeling for my products has a lot to do with my personality as well, and how I like to portray my business. I consider myself to be a little minimal. Like, I don't own a lot of clothes, and that's for a reason, because I don't like clutter, and I don't like things to look too crowded, and I like things to look clean and very minimal. And so that is what I wanted to kind of portray in my business as well. And so in the beginning, I started out with black, white, and gold labels, and that was just the overall aesthetic of the business. But then because I started to look at other businesses and I started to think that my business wasn't going to stand out because of the simple labels, I started to switch them, and I switched it to purple, gold, and white, and it looked very cartoony. It didn't really look the way that I wanted it to look, and it just didn't feel like it was me. And so I then switched it again to black, white, and gold, and people actually took to it a lot better. It looked more attractive, it looked very simple, and it looked very minimal, and it actually matched the overall aesthetic of the business and what I wanted people to see. Which brings me to my last lesson, which is to take my time. Taking my time was something I had to learn very early on because I made some errors in the beginning. Of course, one of them being what I mentioned last, which that I had to rebrand multiple times, and rebranding costs money. I had all of those labels and I had to order new labels. And so I spent close to $600 just trying to buy new labels and going back to the drawing board. And so once I got those new labels, then I noticed that there was some misspellings, and I'm like, how did I do that? And so I had to go back and I had to send off for more labels. And so rushing is very costly, and so take your time. Also, I used to spill things a lot, and spilling inventory and spilling your products is costly as well because you just lost money, and you need every ounce of your raw material so that you can get the right batch size if you're formulating. So for me, I had to learn to just take my time and notice that I'm on a business journey. Your business isn't just cut and dry. It's going to be a process. It's hills, it's up and down, and then there's going to be moments where you just remain the same. But I say all that to say that you are going to be on your journey for however long you're going to be on it. And whatever happens is going to happen, whether you rush or you go slow. The goal is to make sure that you're not spending excessive amount of money because you have to go back and fix your mistakes. So take your time. Realize that your journey is however long you plan on being on your journey, and that you have this X amount of time to complete whatever you're seeking out to complete. Okay, so we are at the end of this video. Thank you so much if you made it to the end. I know this video was sort of long and I try to keep it a little short, but it was a little lengthy because I had to go through some different lessons that I learned. But I hope you guys enjoyed those lessons. I hope you actually learned from them or even added those lessons to the list of lessons that you've learned in your business journey so far. And we are also at the time where I ask you to do something for me. I need you to hit that like button, subscribe, and also make sure you click the bell so you get notified every single time I post on this channel. And I'll be seeing you guys real soon. Thank you. Bye, y'all.